All right, here we are in the garden. It's quite large. We've got a lot of space here, about an acre and a half. We've been working really hard. I've got the bathtubs here that still need some work. As you can see, they're in the shade, and we need to cut some of these trees a little bit more to get rid of it. And we'll start at this end. I've got a fig tree here that I don't know if it'll survive. I've got a little peppermint there. This, we're getting ready for new beds. We've got 3 rows of strawberries that we've been working on. We've been working really hard on this corn we just planted, and we don't have very many up. So we're probably going to replant more. And as you can see, we have to weed it already. And this row is tomatoes. A few of them got sunburned after we moved them out. At the end of the row is some Swiss chard. And all of these things I've planted from seeds in the greenhouse and have just replanted out here. And so a lot of them aren't doing that well right now, but I'll show you more pictures later in the season. This is kale. Then we have cabbage and celery and broccoli. And at the end that I just planted from seeds are some squash. Then here is beans on the trellis. In this row, this trellis is made with hog wire and metal posts. And you just take 4 metal posts for each panel of hog wire, and you just arch it over and put them in the ground. And we just use zip ties to hold it on. And then there's beans on this side and a few coming from seed. All this I've planted from seed. I do need to reseed the cucumbers. And at the end is peas, but I had to reseed those. They didn't come up very well, or critters got them. And right here, I always let some volunteers come up. I've got a little bit of volunteers of dill and chamomile and basil, and at the end I've planted potatoes. Then this one is tomatoes with a few volunteers of chamomile and dill. And then this end I've let the cilantro seed itself from last year. Plus I've planted some tomatoes on this row. There's a little bit of barrage in the middle. This also has some hot peppers and some tomatillos and okra. Volunteers of chive on the edges here. And then we have the borage, which is quite pretty and very good for pollinators. And the borage reseeds itself very easily, and it helps reduce your pests in your garden. Isn't that one gorgeous? Along with calendula, which is good to intersperse with everything. This is garlic, which I will harvest. There's still a few scapes in here. These blossom ends, you cut them and just chop them up and put them in dishes like you would garlic. And they're quite lovely, very nice and mild. Very little garlic flavor. This is potatoes and onions. And there's a little bit of lettuce at the end. Now, I've got a lot of fruit trees that I've planted. We're working on our raspberry patch. This is raspberries, but the gophers got most of them. And so we're going to try to get it redone, this raspberry patch. And this patch, which is full of weeds, is asparagus. We've got a whole row of asparagus, and it's quite nice to eat. I have put some currants at the beginning of several of my grape rows. These are rows of grapes. And this is a nectarine tree, which is doing pretty good right now. I've been fighting diseases on all these trees. I have to spray them every year. I use organic sprays. These two next to are peaches, and they're doing quite well this year. Then this is an apple tree. I believe it's Haralson apple. Yes, Haralson. And this is the last row I'm doing of that grape. And then these rows we're going to be ripping out the grapes. I only want 10 rows. And we're going to eventually put berries in these rows. And we've got chickens. We just had 3 new baby chicks. I did have a broody hen and I let her have babies. So we only got 3 out of that bunch of chicks. And the first part of the grapes is Tempranillo wine grapes. These are Pinot Noir. And I've been working real hard to fill in these rows, slowly but surely. And this is a Melrose apple tree right here. It doesn't have very many on it this year, only a couple. And this was supposed to be a nectarine, but as you can see, it's fuzzy. It looks more like a peach. This is the first year I've had fruit on that. This is my apricot. It's not doing very well. I've got a cherry tree here that's barely hanging on. I'll just fertilize the heck out of it and make sure we water it good. This is pepper apple. It's called winter banana, and it looks quite nice. And then this cherry tree is actually doing pretty good, except I can see all these cherries aren't any good, so I'm going to rip them off. This had a disease last year, and I had to chop it down real severely. And these next two, this is a plum, and it's doing quite well, but it's got a few insects right in all over it. There's some insect things I need to spray again. And this is a Yellow Delicious, another plum tree. And I have a cat who wants in the garden. I'll just open the gate, let him in. This is another apple tree. Then we've replaced a row of grapes with blueberries, and they're quite tall. We've got 9 of these mature blueberries. This is a pear tree, and there's no pears on it right now. This is another apple tree. It's supposed to be a yellow apple, but they look kind of red to me for a yellow apple. This is the first year I've had fruit on this tree also, but that looks really nice. This is another pear, and there's a few at the top. Then I've got cherries down at this end, and they have a few insects. I'm gonna need to spray them also. And that one is got quite a few cherries on it that look good. And this cherry tree almost didn't make it. The gophers got it really bad, but it's come back. And we check it by lifting up on the tree, because the gophers will eat the whole thing and it'll lose. And this is a cherry, and it's doing well, but it doesn't have any cherries on it. And then this cherry is full of, I'm not sure if it's a fungal disease or a insect disease, but I'm going to spray it with orchard spray. There definitely has some insects up there eating. So I'll spray it with a horticultural spray that's organic. And then out there, that's another cherry. That's the best cherry I've got. And we don't even do much care for it, just trimming up and fertilizing. And it's doing the best of all of them. We don't even ever water it. So, all right, that is the garden. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next video. There's Claude trying to find gophers. Bye.